Lost D Punch Out TV. How are you all doing on this first evening? Well. This is just straight off the cuff. I've just this minute got in through the door, and I've only just seen the interview from, seconds out with Danny Flexen. Well. What did I tell you? I told you it was a duck. I told you, didn't I? I told you. I told you he was going duck Joseph Parker. I've just listened to the interview with Danny Flexen and Frank Warren, aka Fish Eyes. Cod Eyes just said then that they're in talks with Usyk's team. Danny Flexen's just asking the question, what's going on with Dubois? And boxing fans across the social media are asking for if he's going to fight Joseph Parker. And old Cod Eyes has just absolutely had a meltdown. And said, I don't give a flying fuck what trolls are saying about trolls being in you don't give a flying fuck what anyone's saying, and especially trolls who are sat in the mum's house in the basement in the string vests eating pot noodles. So basically, Frank, what you're saying is you don't give a fuck what the boxing fans are saying, because all across the YouTube streets 90% of people are asking what's going on, and is he going to give Joseph Parker his fight? And you've just said that it's a bigger fight. You'd have to go and listen to it. What's the bigger fight, he said to Danny Flex, and what's the bigger fight, Usyk or Joe Parker? Now, as soon as I heard that he pulled out the fight, the alarm bell started ringing. It's 2 weeks today, still not seen him. No statement from him, no statement from his team. The only statements what have come out is Don Charles has done a statement, his trainer, and Stan the Man. Fish Eyes said to Danny Flexen that the British Boxing Board of Control doctor pulled him out of the fight. Well, that's not what Stan the Man said. Stan the Man said the doctor said he could fight, but it's up to him if he wants to fight, but he recommends that he doesn't fight because of burst eardrum. He would feel the pain after a few rounds. And Don Charles said very similar. Fish Eyes has just had an absolute meltdown then. And shout out to Danny Flexen for asking these questions about what's going on with him. No one's heard him, no one's seen him, what's going on. And then Frank's just said that we're in talks to fight. We're talking to Usyk's team for this fight. So anybody out there, you tell me that that's not a blatant duck. That's a blatant duck, because this is how I see this. You were scheduled to fight Joseph Parker, right? You pulled out of the fight because I believe that you lot weren't confident about this fight, because I did a video about the confidence of these two fighters, and for me, the more confident fighter was Joseph Parker, seemed to be more confident was Joseph Parker. I believe that you lot, which was in paper, I think was a 50-50 fight, I think that you lot pulled out of that fight deliberately to feed Martin Piccoli to Joseph Parker, hoping that Piccoli would beat Parker and scatter Parker to the back of the queue, and Piccoli wouldn't have got a chance to fight. He might have done somewhere down the line, but I believe that you threw him in with Piccoli, hoping that Piccoli would stop or shatter Parker's dreams, get him off his tail, and then you lot could go on to fight Alexander Usyk for undisputed. And Parker's dusted aside the so-called bogeyman of the division, and now all of a sudden radio silence. How do you pull out of a fight, right? How do you pull out of a fight and not be seen and not be heard? Dillian Whyte's just pulled out of a fight and he's doing interviews saying about his finger. No one's suspicious of him ducking because he's come straight out and said, like, he's done his finger in. He can't spar, so he's pulling out of the fight. But Daniel Dubois pulls out of a fight and doesn't get seen. And then all of a sudden, you've just admitted it, that he's in talks, that you're in talks with Usyk's team of a fight for undisputed. And I'll tell you the reason why you've ducked as well. Another reason, because Frank Warren has still got one hold of the heavyweight crown. So therefore, he's got 1 foot through the door still. And I believe that you weren't confident that that Daniel Dubois could beat Joseph Parker. So you come up with a bullshit excuse that he was ill. Because, just let me finish this bit. A bullshit excuse that he was ill. So he pulled out of the fight. Then you go and fight Usyk for undisputed. And then hoping that Daniel Dubums or Daniel Duduck beats Alexander Usyk. And then you've got full control of the heavyweight crown, undisputed, your fighter. And then I believe in the background, out comes the big dosser himself, the big shithouse, the big stiff Tyson Fury. He comes out and fights Daniel Dubois somewhere down the back end of this year for undisputed. Back end of September or something, back end of summer at Wembley Stadium. He fights Daniel Dubois for undisputed. That's what I believe is going to happen, or you're hoping happens. Because let's face it, Frank, who's the doctor? Who's this British Boxing Board of Control doctor? What's his name? Who is he who said that you said he couldn't fight? Where's the medication what you said he was on? What VADA had to check to see if there was any PEDs in it? What was the medication, Frank? Where's this doctor's statement saying that he pulled him out of the fight? Where is your fighter, Daniel Dubois? Now, you can't tell me, right, that you're scheduled to fight a fighter, right, in a 50-50 fight. You pull out through so-called illness. Then you don't reschedule the fight with Joseph Parker. You now move on to undisputed, which I believe was your goal all the time. What is it with them Queensbury fighters? This stinks to high heaven, and it's giving me the same vibes as the fucking saga when Tyson Fury had the WBC belt, with all the amount of ducking what he did over the 2 years before he finally got his arse in the ring and fought Usyk. This is exactly the same saga. It's 2.0. This is a blatant duck. I had some clown telling me I'm a clown because why would Daniel Dubois fight a guy who lost to Dillian Whyte and lost to Joe Joyce? Why would he fight him? Well, he was scheduled to fight him anyway, wasn't he, dickhead? You can't tell me that this is not a duck. What's a duck? What is a duck? What's a duck? And you going on about saying that, well, Joe's got the WBO interim, so he's next in line to fight Usyk or Dubois, the winner of them. Bullshit. Bullshit. You know it, Frank, and I know it, that you're not going to give Joseph Parker that title shot. Especially, well, you might do if Usyk wins. Usyk will do it because he's an honourable man. But you won't if Daniel Dubums beats Usyk. You honestly think that you're going to give Joseph Parker a title shot? Absolutely fucking not. You know, like I said, who's coming out of the woodwork next? Tyson Fury. That's what it'll be. I can see it. I can see it down the line. You're hoping that the Bums beats Parker, beats Usyk, then you've got full reign of the undisputed crown, and then you'll make a fight with fucking Tyson Fury versus Daniel Dubois. There's no way if the Bums wins that you're going to give Joseph Parker a title shot next. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And then Turkey will probably schedule it for Caballero versus Parker. And that way, sorry, you can hear me guts rumbling, I'm absolutely starving. It's just, so you tell me, what is a duck? Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. How can that not be a duck? You were scheduled to fight the man. You pull out through a so-called illness. All your team are saying different things. There's no proof of the medication he was on. There's no proof of who this doctor is. There's no proof of this doctor's letter, like you said. Where is it all? And then you're going off your head when Danny Flexen's asking you questions, saying, I don't give a fuck what anybody says, and especially trolls who live in the mum's house. But really what you mean is you don't give a fuck about what boxing fans are saying. Isn't it us boxing fans what pay your fighters' wages? So we therefore have a right to know what's going on. And because, like I say, all across the board, everyone's asking what's going on. Why is he not fighting Parker? Why is Parker not getting his accolades? Why is Parker not fighting? Everybody's saying it's a duck. Everybody. I'm just glad that I cottoned on to it straight away. And shout out to Counterpunch Boxing, because he's been on this as well. He's been on this trail from day one. And so some other channels are, but no one's saying it's not a duck. I am. Daniel Dubois is a shithouse. He's a shithouse. And people don't like it. People don't like to hear the truth. It's the truth. What more can be? How can this not be a duck? How can it not be a duck? You were scheduled to fight him. You pull out with a bullshit illness. And then all of a sudden you move on to Undisputed. So where does Joseph Parker come into this? You've swerved him. You've gone around the outside of him. It's a fucking duck. That's a duck. If that's not a duck, then somebody tell me what that is. And I don't want to hear, oh, well, he's going on because it's more money. Well, all your fighters are like that. What is it about all your heavyweight champions coming out of Queensbury? The ones who hold the belts. They like to duck and fucking be greedy for money. Now Daniel Dubois is doing exactly what Tyson Fury did. Exactly what he did. The only difference is he's going straight for Undisputed. Whereas Tyson Fury dragged it out. Ducked Usyk for years, trying to age him out. And then finally went for it. I know what you're about, Frank. I've watched you for years. I've watched you since I was a kid. You've never changed. And that was the reason why you've just had that meltdown then, when Danny Flexen put it on you. There's no other way. Daniel DeBums blatantly, and I mean blatantly, ducks Joseph Parker for a shot at Undisputed. And then if he beats him, like I say, you know who's coming out of the woodwork. The so-called I'm retired bullshit. It'll be straight in. He'll duck AJ. He'll go straight to Dubois for Undisputed. If the Bums, even if it's not Undisputed, even if he loses one title, he's going to keep 3 of them. And I guarantee you Tyson Fury fights Daniel DeBums next if he beats Usyk. I guarantee you. I swear to God, that's what's going to happen. And Joseph Parker and Caballero sling you fucking up. Tell you, Frank Warren, you're a shithouse. And Daniel Dubois, you're a shithouse. You're both a pair of shithouses. Because you ducked this fucking guy. You ducked him and there's no other way about it. I don't care what people think, don't care what people say about me. I'm not no so-called boxing expert, but when you study Frank Warren and you know what he's like, and you studied that Tyson Fury shit, all my videos are all still up. And 99.9% predicted everything I said came true. Go and watch them. Go and watch them if you think I'm talking shit. And this, and like I said, from the very first day I made that video, something's fishy on my live stream 2 weeks ago. I said something's fishy. Even people in the chat were saying, yeah, it's a duck, Loz. This is a duck. I guarantee you, it's a duck. So you've ducked Joseph Parker blatantly. Shithouses. Pair of you. Absolute shithouses. And I'm getting called a wanker because I'm against him going to fight fucking Alexander Usyk. You're hoping because Usyk's had them fights with... Usyk's had 2 or 3 fights since then. And it's obviously that Usyk's slowing down. And you're hoping that he bashes him. And that's the reason why you don't want to fight a younger, more improved Joseph Parker. Because it was a 50-50 that Parker could have chucked a banana skin under the bum's feet and upset the crowd and upset the work. And then that way you had no heavyweight champion and you wouldn't have been able to go for undisputed. That's why you ducked him. And you know it, Frank. And that's why you got angry when Danny Flexen put it up to you. That's why you went off your fucking head and had a meltdown, saying I don't give a fuck about what people are saying. And then saying what's the harder fight, Usyk or Parker? How do you know he never fought Parker? What you mean to say is, Frank, where's the money at? And where's the championship belts at? Which you want. You want the bums to be undisputed. Then you can get Tyson Fury out of retirement and get it on between them. Peace out. Let me know what you think. But I'm telling you, man, I predicted he'd fucking duck him. He's just admitted it. They're in talks with Alexander Usyk's team. Peace out. Catch you tomorrow on the live stream.